Hughes and Mello were both at bond court about an hour and a half ago, wearing matching orange jumpsuits. Presumably the first time in well over a year these two have been in the same room together at the same time. Among what community members say is most important to them in terms of the Duncan Park improvements are adding more recreation features, upgrading and adding walking trails, and making Duncan Lake accessible to non-motorized boating and fishing. About 4 to 5 mile stretch of I-26 westbound is going to be closed for at least the next 2 hours. I'm going to step out of the way and let you get a look at kind of the scene that we're seeing now. This plane was designed nearly 100 years ago, and even though technology has changed a lot since then, it's still being used to inspire future pilots. Preserving what this building used to be was a priority during the process, as Southern Weaving turns the page into a new chapter. We just got those details about 5 minutes ago from the sheriff's office, and all of this happened about 2 miles south of the heart of downtown Lawrence. If you're a Clemson football fan traveling to an away game, or in this case a bowl game, there are probably a couple of essentials that you have to bring. It could be your favorite Clemson jersey or piece of clothing, or a $2 bill like this. Well, Tori and Carrie, we're about 5 miles south of downtown 96 in Greenwood County, and as you can see, this bridge here on Kynard Road closed, and officials are telling us it'll probably be closed for several months. Here at Limit Lifters, not only do they train the body, but they also train the mind for success. Carol, known by family and friends as Janae, pled guilty but mentally ill to voluntary manslaughter in 2019, leaving behind a close-knit extended family. Now there's renewed hope from that family that Carol will be able to come back home soon.
I think it just gets harder for me and the family because of her kids.
It's been 4 years since Tiffany Janae Carroll's family was all able to spend time with her. The mom of 5 was in an abusive relationship. Police called multiple times, but no charges ever filed. Carol's Aunt Brenda and 2 cousins Tamara and Courtney say the abuse was hidden for a long time.
I think it for me was at Tamara's baby shower. The light was out. She was not joyful.
That was weeks before Carol stabbed her boyfriend to death during an argument. A clinical psychologist later evaluated Carol and said she was in a cycle of violence.
She's just a very sweet person all around. She's very kind-hearted.
State Representative John McCravey recently learned of the case and filed a pardon application for Carol this month.
I'm writing this letter with my highest recommendation for and in support of a pardon for Tiffany Carroll.
Included are several letters of support, witness statements from 2017.
The neighbor described her as a prisoner in her own home.
Past police reports.
I can't get this out of my mind. I'll never get it out of my mind after reading it.
Even a letter from the 8th Circuit solicitor. His office prosecuted the case. He says while he cannot advocate for a pardon, he does support her getting out of prison through parole and believes her actions were isolated to the situation she was in at the time.
I believe this was extraordinary circumstances.
Families say Carol decided to plead guilty but mentally ill because she wasn't confident with how a trial would turn out.
She wanted to take the plea deal because she knew that she'll be able to get out and still see her kids.
McCravey says with the way South Carolina law is written right now, a jury wouldn't have been able to find her not guilty by self-defense, just because of her battered woman syndrome diagnosis. It's something he's working to change.
You can introduce battered women's syndrome as evidence of self-defense, but there's no instruction to the jury, there's no presumption.
As for Carol's family, they're optimistic she'll be home soon.
We're very hopeful, cautiously hopeful. We just want her home. We just want her to be able to heal with her children.
Now, Carol's family say Janae only recently learned of these new efforts to get her home. She said she was surprised, overwhelmed, and appreciative. Now, a parole hearing for Carol is scheduled just in a couple of months, and on average, a pardon hearing that will take place 7 to 9 months after an application is received.
This is the last call for E16. Officer Matthew Hare.
As the body of Officer Matthew Hare arrived at Rock Springs Baptist Church, it was met by a sea of blue.
Today was a great way to honor Matthew.
Hundreds of first responders from South Carolina and other states across the region
coming to pay respects to the young officer who paid the ultimate sacrifice.
It's complex and complicated, yet simplistic at the same time, to honor the sacrifice of a young police officer who gave his life in line of duty.
Inside the filled auditorium, it was evident why Officer Hare chose this career.
One of his teammates put it like this: Matt would rather make a difference in somebody's life than put him in jail.
The family of the Easley native sharing their loved one with the community.
I'm just going to tell you what's in here. And if I break down for that, I apologize. But I loved that rascal a lot.
His great uncle remembering stories of Matthew's childhood.
I got to do stuff with Matthew, introduced him not necessarily to Clemson football, but tailgating.
While Hare was only on the police force for less than a year, his selflessness stood out to his fellow officers and community members.
When Matthew made the decision, the hesitation wasn't there. And the commitment to laying down his life to save another demonstrates the ultimate act of love.
Another officer and I sat beside one another and just held each other's hand through it. And I think that's really a big way to heal, and how, how he would want us to heal. It's just being together, remembering him, the good memories, sharing laughs, and just being a family.
The more than hour-long service, a way for the community and those Hare served besides to say goodbye.
If he had a chance to make you happy and make you laugh, he would absolutely do that. And that's how we truly want to remember him.
Rest easy. We have the watch from here. This is your final call. Officer Matthew Hare, E16 Easley. End of watch. August the 2nd, 2023.
And people in this community say the life and legacy of selflessness Officer Hare displayed will be remembered moving forward. For now, reporting in Easley, Zach Prelutsky, Fox Carolina News. It only comes out on the car during the 8 days and nights of Hanukkah, and the Hanukkah Mobile, as it's affectionately called, draws a lot of pictures, waves, and yes, even the occasional dance moves.
Happy Hanukkah! I would like to share the joy of Hanukkah, that people should just feel the warmth, the cheering, the lights.
For the last several years, Rabbi Label Kesselman has brought Hanukkah to the community.
There's Chabad that has Hanukkah menorah parades all over the country, all over the world. And many of them, during the parades, they'll have music playing just to kind of make it more as a parade. And I decided to try to put the speaker on the car, not just by a parade, but when I go around during the week of Hanukkah.
With Dreidel, Dreidel, Dreidel playing on a loop, Kesselman drives up and down Main Street.
Keep the light shining. Have a good one.
But also has the car stocked with homemade donuts, menorahs, chocolate gelt, and dreidels.
That's some donuts. You're going to hold that? That has been very rewarding for me, that I can be out for sometimes 45 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, people are waving hi. But then when I meet that one person, sometimes a non-Jew that says, I have a Jewish friend that would love to see this, I'll take a picture and send it to them. Or a Jewish person that felt very alone, and now suddenly they feel like, oh, there's other Jews in the city.
It was just kind of cool seeing it and being celebrated too, and being like, oh yeah, representing,
It's those little moments that make the long and sometimes cold hours downtown worth it.
Judaism is not really about sharing the religion as far as asking people to observe what we're doing and do what we're doing, but it's more about the message of what Hanukkah represents, the message of freedom, the message of light, and that's really a universal message that we want to share with everybody. Happy Hanukkah!
Now, Rabbi Kesselman says that whenever he has free time during Hanukkah, that's typically when he's out about, usually downtown Greenville, with the Hanukkah Mobile spreading that music and joy.
So much joy.
I know,
we were just smiling during that whole story.
Yeah. Especially the donuts, I'm sure you had at least
one.
I've
had more than one.
and you would recommend at least stopping by, talk to him.
Donuts, latkes,
all of it.
Brisket. Yeah,
oh,
get it all.
Oh my
well, the car didn't have brisket. That's just what people usually eat during Hanukkah.